This is a conference where we really kick off our activities for the whole year. And we're so glad you're here, a part of that. And understand that from an organizational standpoint, the staff and all, y'all come on up here. These mics should be live here on the program. If you got a copy of the printed program, we'll just follow that for its order that we go in today with the different topics. We have a lot of people participating in this conference and planning it and putting it together. We have a lot of presenters, and I don't mean to put one over the other, but one of the things I have enjoyed the last few years is where we hear from county leaders, sharing the programs and activities that they have in their communities. I think we learn from each other. Thank you. We learn from each other, and by example, when we can see someone else attempting with a project or program, we can either copy it, or we can take it, modify it, and see if it fit back in our county. So that's one of the things we're going to be doing today. With this entire concept of leave where you stand, many of you have heard us talk about this over the years, that one of the ways we measure a Farm Bureau, that if you did not exist, would you be missed? Are the programs and services you provide, are they recognized in your community of being unique and of value to the membership? So all of us in different parts of the state have different ideas and different programs that we work with. And one of the things we're doing besides highlighting these programs today is that we're going to be encouraging throughout 2018 that county farm bureaus recognize their leaders in their community, people that lead where they stand. It may be in ag production, it may be a local leader, it may be an elected official. Those in your community that you want to recognize and provide some local recognition for those folks, just like we're trying to do at the state level. So we encourage you to do that. Our communication team will have information available that they'll be sharing with you to help you do that, some templates that they can use and you can modify to fit your needs. Today we're going to hear from 4 county farm bureaus that had pretty innovative and exciting programs in their community. One of the new ideas comes from Bourbon County. And Ms. Savannah Robin is the president of Bourbon County Farm Bureau. And she's going to be talking a little bit about some of the programs and things they've been doing to help young farmers and existing farmers kind of expand some of their opportunities. And what we'll do, we'll hear from each of the panelists, and then after that, we'll take the time that's left to be able to take questions from everybody. So Savannah, if you would, you can speak from there or the podium. Which your one you prefer to speak from? Podium's fine, or there, either way. I do not have the clicker. Does anybody have the clicker? Yeah, thank you.
I don't know where to put. Where does this go?
We may need some technical support here.
Sorry, I just don't know where to put it. I don't know. Nope. Sorry. You may wonder why Bourbon County let me lead. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Okay, it looks like ours is first.
Do you want to go first?
It's up to you.
Mr. Beck, Pike County is first. Can I
Pike
pass the
County
mic over
PowerPoint is
there?
first. We can change that.
Okay.
Let me run back here.
We were just going to follow the program into there, so if you need to do some work on that. It's Pike County, are you guys ready? We can do that. Julia, are you ready? You want to do that? Okay. Measure the Candidates program. They've been active in their Measure the Candidate programs, as many of you have, and Julia, you're going to hit with that too. So if y'all like to come up and go ahead and do the Measure the Candidate program from Pike County, we'll start there then, okay? Thank you.
I'm going to do a quick introduction. This is James Smallwood, Pike County President. Our other presenter, JB, was feeling ill this morning, so he has stepped out, and James is going to do an excellent job telling you about the Measure the Candidate program.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to start out with a little background. We at Pike County have the largest county in Kentucky, and we had talked for several years about having a Measure the Candidate program, and we finally got down to brass tacks and decided we were going to do one during the election for the state representatives during the 2016 election. Our county, being as large as it is divided into 4 different representative districts, the 92nd, 93rd, 94th, and 95th. The year that we chose to do this, there was contested races in each of those districts, and we decided that we would like to involve the other counties that also included these districts. So through the help of our APD, we were able to gather all the counties together and come to a meeting time and place that everyone could attend. And we contacted the candidates, and they were also able to attend. The measure of the candidate forum is an opportunity to discuss policy with the candidates. The event allows board members to talk with candidates in a controlled environment at a designated time and place. It's important to know where the candidates stand on the issues, and also important that the candidates know us and know of our concerns. The forum is done in a controlled manner in which the ground rules are set up. Each candidate is given an opportunity to make opening remarks and respond to questions concerning policies, and then make closing remarks. Each opportunity the candidate is given to speak is timed so that everyone is treated equally. We at Pike County picked out a date and location after coordinating also with Floyd County, Knott County, Letcher County, Martin County, and Magoffin County Farm Bureaus that are also inclusive in the districts that represent us. The board members were given a chance to talk with the candidates for a few minutes before the formalities and the measure of the candidate event began. The location and date were established. We contacted the legislatures individually as leaders and let them know about the event. We then sent a formal letter requesting their participation and outlining the formalities. They were given a Kentucky Farm Bureau policy book to review so they would be up to date on issues that concern us in Farm Bureau. In addition to the general questions, each of the districts had one question that they could ask specific to their areas. For example, Mountain Parkway runs through the District 92 in Magoffin County, and the candidates could talk about when the completion of this road could become real. Asked candidates in competition of the road project in District 93, candidates were asked about the water situation in Martin County. On the day of the event, Jeff Harbour came to Pikeville and moderated the event. He asked the candidates the questions and helped them to their time limits.
Sure. Real quick, I just want to highlight some of the successes of a Measure the Candidate event. First and foremost, it gives the board members an opportunity to be informed as to where candidates stand on issues that are important to us as Farm Bureau. In addition to that, board members have an opportunity to build relationships. You've heard for the past day how important relationships are, especially with our elected officials. So not only do the board members get to know the elected officials, but the elected officials get to know the board members. And last, I want to highlight the fact that candidates are also informed on what we prioritize as Farm Bureau members. Each of the county boards met and reviewed the potential questions and then decided collectively as a group what they wanted to ask these candidates. So the board then knows where these potential candidates stand on issues. So with that being said, I'll turn it back over to Mr. Beck and we'll answer questions shortly.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you, and thanks, Pike County. Mr. Smallwood, thank you for sharing about your County Farm Bureau's Master Candidate program, and we hope Mr. Gillum's better soon. And thank you for discussing that. And then after we finish the other panelists, then we'll have a Q&A with those that are participating. Next, we'll go back to Bourbon County. And Ms. Savannah Robin, the president of Bourbon County, is going to talk with us a little bit about some of the programs they do in their county to help expand opportunities for young farmers and existing farmers. So, Savannah?
Thank you, Mr. Beck. I just like 2 introductions, so I'm just kidding. For those of you that weren't in here, we had a little mishap. So thank you. Thank you. Good morning. So I'm really excited to be here. I don't have our other board members with us. I just took over presidency this year, but I've been involved with the board for the last 8 years. So I've been able to see a lot of these projects come off the ground. But we have some really awesome leadership in our community, and our past president is really involved. And so we've got a lot of momentum going forward. So I'm just going to spotlight some of the things that we've done over the last few years. One of the things that we did about 3 years ago was create a SWOT analysis for our board, and you've probably done those before, but we identified our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and the things that we could do in our community to grow it and where our board needed to go. And along with everything else that our board does, we identified these key areas as places that we wanted to focus our attention on in the upcoming years. And so that's kind of where these ideas will focus on. One of them is youth programs. Another one is expanding opportunities for young and existing producers and farmers, collaboration with our county organizations, and then communication with our members. So some of our youth programs that we wanted to spotlight were our scholarship programs. We give about $3,000 a year annually in youth scholarships within our community, and that's not just to first-year students, that's to students all throughout the collegiate process. One of the board members came up with an idea to do a 4-year scholarship, and that actually was an idea generated from a conversation with another county farm bureau. And we said, how do we make that happen? So last year when we left here with our check, we said we want to allocate some of this money to establishing that 4-year program and that 4-year scholarship. So what happens is a student will apply for the scholarship, and they will be funded for the 4 years during the duration of their college experience if they maintain the GPA and that involvement in what we do. So we ask them to come back to our meetings, stay involved with our board, and continue that relationship with them. We know that it's very difficult financially for students in college, let alone after that first year, they continue to go through that. So how can we support them? In order to make that happen, that requires $1,000 a year. That was a lot of math. I'm not a strength in math. So we had to figure out how much money we needed to have in reserves to make sure that we had that 4-year scholarship going, and that $16,000 being able to go out at one point in time 4 years down the road from now. And so in order to do that, we had to make some more money from it. So one of the things that we decided to do, our Farm Bureau, our now young farmer chairman, Logan Carter, who serves on the state, came up with an idea for a barbecue cook-off. And so the idea was that we would get some of our local smokers, our barbecue smokers, and bring them in and have thank you, and have a competition with them and really open that up to the community and show them that Farm Bureau is more than just the insurance side of things, that it's got a lot more to offer, and we really want to drive that together. And so we hosted our first cook-off last year. We had 4 competitors. We had Farm Bureau judges. We had a lot of presence from Farm Bureau. I know that Sharon was one of our judges, which is amazing. And so we received a lot of feedback from that, and we're planning to do that again on May 12th. So this is like a guiltless plug. If you're interested in participating, we've opened a Farm Bureau board category. Alex Barnett from Harrison County and the Harrison County Board came last year and competed, and that was a really cool collaboration, not just with our community, but also with other Farm Bureaus. And so that gave us the idea to open that up. So if you all are interested and you want to travel to Bourbon County, you can enter our cook-off, and you give away samples of that, and that's how that kind of works, is the people pay to get in. They get so many sample tickets. They get to go around sampling the barbecue, and then they get to vote for the best categories. So we had beef, chicken, and pork, and then we had a people's choice. And so Alex was actually the winner for which one did you win, Alex? He won People's Choice, which is no surprise. But after you give, he is everyone's People's Choice. And I can say that because I'm an ag teacher in Harrison County, so I get to work with him a lot. But after people get their samples, they can go back and buy plates. And so the offer is that those barbecue competitors are able to sell that and earn an income from that. And if you come as a board, you're able to serve that and sell your plates or whatever it might be and donate that money back to your community if you choose to do so. So that was a really exciting thing that we got to do. We made about $1,000 off that, which is not a significant amount. But for our first year, This is the first time we ever had to like really earn money from a fundraising program, so we were really pleased with that, and we expect that this year will be really similar as well. It also brought in different sponsors to us and connected us to different companies. One of the other things that we did to help support this was our t-shirt campaign. And some of you, if you follow us on Facebook, and I'll talk about our Facebook in just a second, you've probably seen this, but we developed a t-shirt in collaboration with one of our local member benefit discount partners, Bourbon Boot Supply. And the idea came from the fact that I was really actually, and if I'm sure you men know this, but boutique shirts are really in right now. It's a soft style, really sweet shirt, you know, and like I'm sure the guys are wearing them every day. But women wear them as like a part of their normal like wardrobe now. And I mean, I do with a sweater, and it's like how we roll. So I was looking for one, right, for family pictures, and I saw a shirt that said farm wife, and it had a picture of a cow with horns and a diamond ring hanging out of its mouth. And I was like, oh, that's the best I can find for a female in agriculture. And I was like, I am a farm wife, but I'm also a farmer, and this is not really agriculturally accurate. So what can we do to open that door? And so we contacted our sponsor, and we created this t-shirt, and a picture of it is here for you. And we went with the theme We Grow, and we tried to incorporate all the different commodities represented in Bourbon County, but also the state of Kentucky. So ideally we grow all these things, but more importantly we grow FFA, 4-H, the Farm Bureau, and then ultimately all those things lead to us growing our future. So we had 60 shirts. We are almost sold out. I think we have like 3 or 4 left, and that generated an income with us. So they covered all the prices and all the costs up front. We made $10 a shirt for our scholarship program with that. So that's about $600 that we made in like 3-week time frame with that unique type of collaboration with our local member benefit program. Some of the other things that we do are ag literacy events and programs, and then our grants, which I'll talk about in just a second, and I'll try to speed up, sorry. I'm windy. So some of our literacy programs that we do, we talked yesterday and we heard from the Women's Committee about hosting National Ag Day programs. About 8 years ago, we started doing that, and we go in and read to students to promote literacy, and we read agriculturally accurate books, but we also focus on a different commodity each year, sorry. And so we try to focus it in on something different, and we do a lesson. We partner with some groups in our community to give out kids samples. We've done butter, we've done, for dairy, we've done all kinds of different things. This picture here is of our pizza garden. 5 years ago, we did a pizza garden. Those kids now, shockingly, are now in high school. So none of the students, when we did the pizza gardens, are still in elementary school. So we've decided to do that again. We work with our high school ag program to set up these pizza gardens in their little pots. They have a tomato plant, a pepper plant, basil, all the different ingredients to make a pizza. We donate those to the schools and the classrooms that we visit, so the kids can then become engaged in the agricultural process, and then they become farmers. And that's really cool for them to see. This year we've also partnered with Hunt Brothers Pizza, which is housed in Bourbon County. And so we have a partnership where they're actually going to provide samples of pizza to our students. So we hope that they can see the beginning process of where pizza comes from, how it is made, and then that end piece. So we try to incorporate that all the way through. Our expanding opportunities, that's how we wanted to do that. One of the things that we did, we have really strong young farmer chairmen. We've had a really strong young farmer chairman in the past, and I'm not just saying that because it's Valentine's Day and he's my husband. But we also have another one now. Logan has moved into that position, and so we've been very fortunate in that way. But Ben worked really hard to create a relationship with our extension office to start up programs for these for our young farmers and producers. The first thing we did, again, was a needs assessment. What do you need from us? What can we do for you to do this? We've reached, and total reach, like not doubled up. We have about 65 to 70 people at one time or another that participate in young farmer programs that we offer within our community. And they could come from in and around the area. And we open that up to anybody. It's no age restriction. But we do seminars, programs, tours. This summer we did a young farmer tour where we started in March, and then we hit a couple different places along the way. We try to make some of them very family oriented. This was us doing a sneak peek of the Bluegrass Stockyards. And so we had about 48 people come to that one, which, I mean, if you're going to get a sneak peek of something, we wanted to get in before everybody else did. So that was one of the cool things that we were able to do. Our grant program, which is something I said I would touch on a little bit. 3 years ago, we started this program, and it's something very near and dear to me. But we offer 4 different categories of grants. Our youth grant, which is about $500 to help, not about, it is $500, to help youth in our community build, expand, or enhance their agricultural operation. So we know that they can get an FSA loan, or they can get a matching program or grants or whatever that might be. And we wanted to be a part of that and help them offset some of those costs. So kids in our community, 18 and under, can apply for that and be able to build that. But we didn't want to leave anybody else out. So we established a young farmer producer and an existing farmer and producer grant that would allow us to enhance educational opportunities. So we know that agriculture changes every day, and the industry is really hard to keep up with. And in order to attend conferences or stay up front on the forefront of what agriculture is doing, it sometimes costs a lot of money. And so we wanted to figure out a way to help offset those costs for our producers in our community, whether it's AAS certification or traveling to the Cattlemen's Convention or other conventions or places. We will help cover those costs if they will apply for those grants to do that. So that's something that we've started and we're really proud of. And then our last one is our Ag Education and Literacy Grant, where we give $250 to local schools and programs to teach agricultural education or enhance that. So we've sponsored the mobile ag unit that was discussed yesterday. We helped our local Catholic school build a greenhouse for their 5th grade class. So we do those kinds of things with that grant. And then one of our, I promise I'll speed up. One of the things that we just started was a mentor program. We had our first mentorship meeting on Tuesday, and this was an idea that we had really to try to generate and really build relationships, which was also mentioned, with the youth in our community, and not just not the youth, 18 and under youth, but our young producers and young farmers. There are a lot of them who don't have a lot of guidance at home, or their parents may not be involved in it, or they rely on their grandfather, and that is a wonderful relationship, but we need somebody to connect with them that can tell them, okay, these are new programs. These are other things that we do. What kind of genuine relationship can we build with these people? And we were shooting for 2. We got 6. And so we have 6 young people in our community that we partnered with our board members and really engaged agriculturalists in our community. And that is something that they'll have a monthly contact with, 3 in-person meetings a year. And any of this information I'd be more than happy to send to you in the way that we do it, our applications, our programs. Again, this is our first year for the mentor program, but the young people that came to our meeting on Tuesday were so excited to have a connection to somebody and have somebody help them in their agricultural journey. So we're really excited to see how that goes. We have county collaborations, which is something that we've talked about. Our communication with members, we started a newsletter and a Facebook. So there we go. I'll answer any questions later.
Thank you for showing some innovative, creative, new ideas from Bourbon County. Thank you for sharing that. Next, we're going to hear from LaRue County Farm Bureau. They had a pretty exciting program, pretty much took over downtown Hodgenville, and had a wonderful event, faith, family, friends, farms, dinner. And that was really neat to see that. I wasn't able to be there in person, but I saw a lot of publicity that came from that event. So Mr. Caleb Ragland, the president of LaRue County Farm Bureau, and Ms. Patty Holbert will come forward and share with a little bit of the activity, some of the planning and the work that went into it, as well as the results. So LaRue County.
We're supposed to have a video at the very start.
You know, I've been to a lot of these dinners across Kentucky, and I got to say, hands down, this is the nicest downtown Kentucky Proud dinner in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. This is about as ideal as it gets. And if you look around tonight, we're sitting with our families. And in Kentucky, agriculture is about families. Any small town, any rural community in our state, agriculture surrounds the family unit. And here in Kentucky, we have a strong connection with our agricultural roots that date back over 200 years. We have a deep connection. We have a lot of heritage, tradition that still runs deep in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And so wherever you travel in our state, you can find a family that is the backbone of Kentucky agriculture. You know, here in Kentucky, we have 75,000 farms. That is a lot of farms. You know, farming and ag, it's often an industry that's misunderstood. It's one that sometimes gets criticized unfairly in the national media. And we need to take time to just take a moment and say thank you and be proud of the agriculture we have in our state.
Good morning. Our Ag Extravaganza began 5 years ago. It's kind of a brainchild of our board. We wanted to do something to engage our community, and even though we're a small rural community in central Kentucky with a lot of ag in our economy and in everybody's roots, we felt like there's becoming a large disconnect between what's actually going on with our farms and what the folks living in our community actually understand about what we're doing. So our first year was 2013, and we actually had farm tours on 5 different farms and ended up on a farm for a concert. From there, the next year we started doing some work with our county fair and also still did some farm tours. The year after that, we were at the county fair only. The year after that, we did some work with our county fair and then did a farm-to-table dinner, and then last year was a farm-to-table dinner only. So the Ag Extravaganza concept has been a bit of a metamorphosis for our county, but through these experiences, we learned what worked and what didn't and what interested people the most and so forth. And I think that here in the last couple of years, I wouldn't say we've perfected it, but we found something that really interests a lot of folks in our community, has become very popular. A lot of the credit goes back to having good people working behind the scenes and on the front lines to pull it together. Patty Holbert has been our chairman the last couple of years, kind of ramrodded this event, and she along with our board, everybody has just worked together as a team. We've been able to pull this event off for a minimal amount of money, but yet have a good event. So I'll let her dig into some of the nuts and bolts of what we've been doing.
I just have a few slides that'll show you kind of what we've done. The most important thing is the community involvement. We've managed to have partners. This is an aerial view. This is one of my favorite pictures here. You can see we've got chairs, tables set up all around the square. We're working with the city government. Our mayor's been great. He lets us shut the square down for the whole day to prep for it. We have a group of, this is the event on the square. Everybody works with Kentucky Proud, right? Okay, we know there's grant funds available to put on events like this, plated up recipes, which are very important. We've used those to do all of our side dishes. We've worked with the pork producers, the Beef Cattle Association in the county to help prepare food. The fundraising through local businesses has been amazing. Last year, we really thought we were okay. We didn't need a lot of funds, and we had people offering money that we hadn't asked because they wanted to be involved in this event. That's how important it's become to the community. The Kentucky Proud, I'm going backwards, I'm sorry. Through social media, the video you just saw, we've reached over 13,000 people. So even though you may only have, this year we had 375 people there that attended, we've reached out and that many people have seen what we're doing in the county and how important it is. The partners that we worked with, LaRue County Extension Service, our A&R agent's fantastic. He's really one of the major players in this. LaRue County FFA, we could not do this event without them. These kids come in, about 20 of them. They help with everything from doing floral arrangements to setting up tables, chairs, to serving, the cleanup. And they are the person that gets the extra proceeds. Anything we have left, we make sure we take care of the FFA. This year we were able to give them about $2,000. Kentucky State University is another person that's very important. They have a mobile kitchen. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but they have a mobile kitchen that is free of charge. You get on their calendar, they'll bring it to you. Anybody that wants to use it can. And that was very instrumental. When you're doing something like this on site, it's hard to prepare all the food and bring it in for that many people, but this was key. Paula's Hot Biscuit is a local restaurant that she has been amazing. She works with us every year. She is great to work. We want to use all fresh produce. Everything's grown within the county. If anybody cooks very much, or your wife does, you know, it takes a little extra effort to prepare fresh foods rather than just getting things out of a can or your normal restaurant type food. And she has been instrumental both years in helping with all of our dishes. This is a copy of our menu. As you can see, we've listed the ones that have a Kentucky Proud recipe beside them. On the back of that, we've listed all of our partners, people that have helped, donated funds, helped out in any way. Give them a little shout out there. All of these are on the tables. This is what our ticket looked like. The first year we did this, it was kind of a struggle. We really had to talk it up and really push, and people were thinking picnic. We didn't do a picnic. We did a sit-down dinner with china, flatware, stemware on the square, fresh floral arrangements on every table. This is another partner we had. We have a group in the county called Life Connection. It's a live-in facility for boys. They're all wards of the state for one reason or another, but our ag agent and myself, we did a garden project with them there this summer. They grew all the green beans for our event. Most of these kids had never grown a garden before, planted a seed of any kind. They're from all over the state. They grew the beans, harvested them, helped us break them, and then, like I said, the local restaurant helped prepare them. But the kids were really excited about this. The floral arrangements. All the ladies in the county grew flowers. FFA kids helped arrange those, so that's another project the day before. Everybody cuts, brings in, we use the extension office for that also, brings all of those in. This is some of the tables before everyone got there. It was a little windy that day. You can see tablecloths a little upside down. We have a local guy, you can see the L8 there, brought that in. Produce baskets that were donated that we gave as door prizes. We did appetizers for about an hour before this started, and it's turned into a large social event. This year we had 375 people. The first year we struggled to get 300 tickets sold. This year we sold out in 2 weeks. Tickets were $25 a piece, which is very reasonable. We're not trying to make a lot of money. We just want to get people involved. We had, like I said, appetizers. All of those are local products, Kentucky Proud products. This is just a small section of kind of the people socializing before it started. These are some of our meals. This is our group of FFA kids, and like I said, we could not pull this off without them because we have a lot of adults to work, but most of us are a little older, and these kids really work their hearts out and don't complain at all. They're great. You can tell they have a little bit of fun too. Okay, there's another view from the side before the crowd got there. And then this, we moved it back to a little later in the day. We do this in August, and if you're going to do anything produce related, you know, you really can't count on much before the 4th of July, so you're working July and August to be able to have this event. The first year, it was almost 100 degrees that day, so people still came out and enjoyed. This year we had a beautiful day. People came early, stayed late. We were finished cleaning up and people were still there socializing, visiting, which is exactly what we wanted. Our crowd was probably a mix of about 50% people that were farm-related people and the other 50% people that have no farm background whatsoever, which is exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to blend the two. And these are just some more shots from the evening. We do bring the farm into town. We've used tractors to block off all the entrances to town. If any of you all have ever been into Hodgenville, there's a circle there, 4 main roads coming in. So we blocked all those off with tractors, different equipment. A lot of that was a big photo op, people in front of the tractors and things like that. Again, some more aerial views. I think the best money we've spent over the years was to have our drone video done. We've got the aerial shots. You saw the video. We had a company out of Elizabethtown that put that together for us, and that has been our best advertising of anything we've done. People see that, it pulls them in. We had a lot of people the second year that, you know, hey, if we'd known it was going to be like that, we would have loved to have come. So like I said, it's a lot easier to sell the concept of outside dinner in August if people have seen that a lot of people attended and what a great event it was. Anything else you've got?
I would just like to say, I think that each of our counties have some unique talents and abilities, folks on your board. You know, we've just been able to work together and put some unique ideas together with some folks that want to get our agriculture message out and kind of try to tie back in with our community and relate to them. And I would just challenge each of you all. You have a unique opportunity wherever you're at, kind of like our saying here at Kentucky Farm Bureau of lead where you stand. Figure out something that you can do to tie the agriculture message back into your community. Because I think if you make the effort, there's really some good rewards there. This has been a very positive experience, our extravaganza for our community over the last 5 years, and we hope it's something we can continue to refine and to continue to relate and interact with our community for years to come. We have a very unique opportunity with the membership base and our name at Farm Bureau. We need to make sure we're using that to the best of our abilities. Thank you all.
Caleb and Patty, thank you for sharing what you did in LaRue County and continue to do. A wonderful project. Takes a lot of work, a lot of planning, a lot of partners, but the results are very rewarding. So thank you for what you're doing to promote agriculture. I think we all learn from the opportunity how we can apply that. Next, we're going to hear about 4 counties down in western Kentucky that border the Mississippi River. We're going to have 2 today. Ballard County, the agency manager, Justin Puckett, they hosted this past year. And then Mr. Bobby Toon, the county president of Carlisle County, will host it 2018. They had a tremendous opportunity to come together to focus on economic development with a focus on agriculture and commerce. And something they started last year, looks like it's going to continue to do this. So if you gentlemen, I'm not sure who's going to go first. Jess, are you going to go first? If you'll come forward and kind of share a little bit of the partnership and the work and the results you had this past year.
I want to thank you all for having us today. Matt, thank your group. This has been a great forum. I've got a lot of good ideas that I'm going to take back with me, so I appreciate that. Before I start, Tim Thornberry did a wonderful article about our Ag Day. I think it was the August issue. Excuse me, I think I've had what everybody else has had here lately. And I stopped on the way here and had 100 copies made, and they're out there on the table. And I bring that up to say this. When I got to Office Depot and went to check out, they charged me $86 or something like that. I pulled up on my phone my Farm Bureau membership card, and I've got the receipt. It rung up $25.44. So that's a savings of $49. So if you're not using those benefits, I want to encourage you to do that. I mean, that's a couple years memberships for me. So I'm certain that every one of our churches are printing bulletins and doing things like that, and that's a great benefit. That's a great benefit. Our Ag Day, just to give you a little history, as you know, rural communities are struggling from an economic development standpoint. We lost our paper mill in Ballard County, which had an economic impact of about $30 million in our river counties. That's tough. Our school system's our largest employer, and same story in Carlisle, Fulton, and Hickman County. It's been a struggle. And so, you know, agriculture is our backbone in those communities. A lot of row crop, Bobby, tobacco farmer. That's our industry. That's what we've got. It's what we've got to lean on. And as I was serving, you'll see some pictures as you scroll through of our Ag Day. You'll see a lot of familiar faces from Farm Bureau. But Ballard County Chamber started several years ago doing an Ag Day to celebrate agriculture. And I think you all know some of the most wonderful people in the world are farmers, but some of the most difficult people to engage are farmers. I think we'd all agree with that. And I spoke with Mr. Beck about this at in Washington, D.C. on a congressional tour. And I went back and I began to talk to some folks locally, and we were discussing our Ag Day and the future plans. And what we decided was, you know, we struggle to engage with farmers because we try to connect them with folks that they're already connected to. So people you already have a relationship with. If you've got a relationship with John Deere, you don't need me to have a day to celebrate agriculture and bring you and John Deere together because you have that relationship. You developed that relationship. And what we come to the conclusion of is our messaging is all wrong. And what we've got to get out there is understand that economic development needs agriculture, but equally as important, agriculture needs economic development. I was speaking with a gentleman from the school, and he said, I had a farmer come up to me and say, he said, my tax rates, you've raised my tax rates again. He said, no, I haven't raised your tax rates, your assessment's gone up. So there's less people putting money in, or more people taking money out, less people putting money in. So guess where they come to? Landowners, farm owners. Mr. Haney talked about it this morning. So that's what our effort is to bridge that gap, lean on the farm community to help us get that message out. We feel like the future of economic development for our area is in agriculture. Obviously not making any land, but there's a lot of new things coming down the pipe with the hemp going on, and we want to capitalize on those things. So we decided to reach out to the river counties, Ballard, Carlisle, Fulton, Hickman, come together as a collaboration and put on scale this Ag Day into something more special. One of the things we did was we gave awards for Farmer of the Year, Ag Business of the Year, and Friend of Agriculture, and mirrored similar to the awards that we give here at Farm Bureau. Some of the speakers we had, Ryan Quarles come down and spoke with us. Mr. Beck was our Master of Ceremonies. Warren Beeler, Eddie Melton, all of our state reps were there. Just a wonderful day to celebrate. And if you'll see the background there, Farm Bureau was one of the platinum sponsors. When we kicked this thing off, we started talking about money and how we could raise money and what we could do with it. And we ended up in this event raising over $50,000 that went back into those local communities. And Bobby's going to come up and tell you some of the results of that. If you'll notice on the slides, everywhere you look, there's Farm Bureau, and that's not by mistake. There's a lot of hands that were in this event, but obviously the movers and shakers across Kentucky, folks, are our Farm Bureau leaders. They're our county board members. That's the people that get things done. If you want to get things done, go to a local county Farm Bureau board, and I think you'll see that probably 70% of those folks serve on every other board that's in the community. And so with that, a few things that I want to leave you with a challenge before Bobby comes up. Our lead where you stand, I thought a lot about that and how that relates to what we're doing in our Ag Day and what we're talking about. And I want to challenge you because when we reached out in our community, getting sponsorships and talking to farmers and having that conversation that we talked about before that sometimes is difficult, one of the things that I heard was, well, I really can't do a lot because I'm out in the field. But, if I've got a name like Glenn Howe that's coming to as many meetings as he can come, he's doing more for me in the field by being able to promote this event and what we're doing through his name. And so if you're thinking, well, I can't really help, because do all you can do and put your name behind it. Because I'm telling you, with Farm Bureau's name at your back, it's a huge boost to these things. So I challenge you to get involved if this is something that you're interested in. Don't take for granted when you drive through Carroll County and you see the manufacturing job, don't take for granted they'll always be there, because we did. And I've got 3 small children that I want them to have the ability to stay home, and this economic development and agriculture, I think bundling those two things will make us successful in the future. So with that, we're going to show a short video of our Ag Day. Bobby's going to come, and with any event, you measure your success by results, right? So Bobby's going to share some results that we're really excited about. We're going to be doing this event again this year. Farm Bureau will be a platinum sponsor. Mr. Glenn, I hope you're okay with that. If not, I'm going to have to write a big check on my own, I guess. So, but we'll work that out. Appreciate you all listening, and we'll show this video. And Mr. Bobby Toon from Carlisle County come up.
What you've got are roads and a river like nobody else. we will be a vibrant community. These four counties coming together, these four counties that can bring economic development to this area with the backbone of agriculture. The first of many we hope in the future.
I guess to start off where Justin was left off, this event we had about 60 vendors, and at our first meeting we had kind of getting organized, we was really concerned about getting very many, and we wound up with 60. So with that, we considered it a huge success. So what I'm going to kind of give you an oversight of is some of the fruits of this that we're seeing to come about. Earlier this year, King Royal Biotech out of California, in conjunction with a Chinese company, has entered into an agreement, I guess you would say, to build a processing plant in Carlisle. We're going to have roughly a 50,000 square foot warehouse and about $30 million in investment that's going to come out of this. Looks like it's going to be around 100 jobs. In that 100 jobs, we've got to include scientists, marketing, and people in the manufacturing plant. So for Carlisle, 100 jobs, as Justin said, our school system and our government offices is the only employers we have. We have no manufacturing. So this is a huge lift for our small county. This will be the only commercially produced grade CBD in the United States. So with that, they're going to extract pharmaceutical oils. They're going to make fiber for clothing. And now we're hearing that some of this may extract the center of the stem for horse bedding. I'm not sure where that goes, but that's what we're hearing. And then also seed for consumption. It's supposed to be a huge health benefit to a hemp seed. So with that, that's our first fruit. So what we done on this initiative is any money that was left over after expenditures, we gave back to all four counties. Then that allowed the judge executive of that county to decide how they wanted to disperse their monies. Our county judge put it in entrepreneurship in conjunction with Murray State. They have a program. So if you are an entrepreneur that you want to get into, you can go to Murray State. You can use, I think we got 5,000, Justin? Each county got $5,000. So we entered into that. So now a young lady in our county has went down that road, and in that segment, she has found out that she's wanting to open a bed and breakfast is her lifelong dream. In this class, she's learned about how to get financing for it. So it looks like a bed and breakfast is going to come off the ground out of it. So this one little project, our county's done got 2 possible job employers out of this initiative. So with that, I mean, I think it just kind of shows that the opportunity was that the investor was at the WAVE initiative and seeing what we had to offer, contacted and said we want to build a processing facility with a lot of people behind the scenes, of course. But there's your opportunity. You never know in what meeting something may come from. So with that, you know, just kind of when you're in those conversations, listen and kind of get your message out, because you never know who is listening on the other side that may be receptacle to it. So with that, that's kind of short and sweet and simple.
Bobby and Justin, thank you both for being here and sharing the success of what you're doing with the counties in that part of the state, but also the opportunities for it to grow. And those relationships and partnerships are key. I think we all know that things just don't happen. People make things happen. And you as county leaders are in key role to make some really good things happen in your county farm bureau. We've got this opportunity to share ideas and take each other's ideas and build on those, expand those, so that model will work in our community. For our panelists here today, they've shared some unique programs and opportunities. Pike County's talked about how they have done multi-county, Michigan opportunities to set the stage for policy implementation, which is something we're very much about. Bourbon County has talked about how we can do things to expand opportunities for young people, young farmers, and existing agricultural producers out there. LaRue County has given us an example of how you can do some tremendous things and call attention of explaining and understanding the importance of farm and family and friends and agriculture. A great example of what you've done in that area. Besides the community leaders that participated, the non-ag people and elected officials have participated. Another opportunity there. And then we've seen the example from Carlisle County and Ballard County, how they partnered with 4 counties to expand economic development opportunities, but first recognizing the need, but also creating an understanding among all elected officials at all levels how important agriculture is to that future growth of providing jobs and economy for that part of the state. So we've had some great examples here this morning. Now it's an opportunity for you to ask them questions. So we'll pause and we'll take any questions. They have microphones where they're seated, or they can use the podium. So now is your time to ask them questions about the planning and the execution. Anything you'd like to ask our panelists, now it's your opportunity to do so. Yes, please. They've got mics for you there too, that way everyone can hear your question. Good, please.
You mentioned that the grant for the child, I think, was 500, and then you offered other grants. Are they all 500?
Yes, the youth grant is 500 as well as the producer grants. The only one that is not 500 is the $250 grant for the school program. So, and we accept multiple applications, and so that's a good question. And the fact that we allocate $500 towards that grant program, and so if, for example, somebody wants to apply for AI certification and it's only $270, we still have the rest of that $500 to be able to give out. And we strategically made our age brackets like 18 and under, and then that way if we had a youth that applied that could fall into the young farmer category, we could kind of make and move that around as needed. So if we have 2 or 3 people apply for one grant program, we can try to allocate as needed.
Oh, so what I'm understanding is that if they're applying for something that costs $325, they just get an allocation of $325, and then you have the balance left over for another project or grant.
Right, for another applicant if needed.
Okay.
Yep, and there's a budget sheet that they have to, identify for there. So we don't just give them a check for $500 towards whatever it might be. There is an application process for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Another question. Stacy's got a microphone there.
Had a question about maybe for the Bourbon County. Do you require that you're a Farm Bureau member to qualify for these grants, or do you leave them open for everyone?
We do require a Farm Bureau membership for our scholarships and our grant programs. People can apply and participate through other things, even our mentor program. So one of the things we've done with that is if they finish the mentor program, we're going to supplement their membership for the upcoming year as like a thank you for participating. Most of them are from Bourbon County anyway, and we're Bourbon County members to begin with. But that's part of the benefits from the program, but the rest of them are required.
Other questions? Yes.
That is a great question. It is limited at best. We do have a large gymnasium / fellowship hall at the First Baptist Church. That is our backup plan. Thankfully, we haven't had to use that yet, but we would have a hard time complaining too much in the middle of August if we did get a shower, but, Now, in 2013, we actually had a washout rain, about a 4-inch rain in the middle of our concert, and it was out on a local farm, so that was quite a circus for a little while, but we had a great corn crop that year, so everybody ended up happy. But good question.
Yeah.
I'll let Patty talk about that a little more. It'll be surprising how small it is.
Actually, with our funds that we raised about $3,000, which helped cover the cost of tables, chairs, table linens, things like that. As far as the food budget, we spent about $2,000 on produce and the meats, anything involved in the meal. The funding available through KDA, this year the amount you can get is $750, and that varies, and the stipulations for it vary every year. The first year it was $2250, that all had to be spent on advertising. The next year it was $500 that was available that all had to be spent on food. This year it is $750, $500 for food, $250 for advertising. So those things help, but we try to keep the cost of our tickets minimal so more people will feel inclined to come. And we've also, my original thoughts on this was we would have 100 to 150 people. My board, if you are aware of any of them very well, had bigger ideas. I let them cap it at 300 the first year. This year we had 375. But still with that, our budget I thought was just minimal. We managed to have about a little over $2,000 profit, which we gave to, like I said, the FFA group. So it really doesn't take that much. If you just do a little figuring, you can make the cost of your tickets cover everything.
Yeah, I think the short answer, it was around $8,000 to $9,000 this year. So, and Patty has a catering business and did a lot to help behind the scenes with cooking to keep our cost out, as did other partners in the community.
That's the main thing, is community involvement, getting people involved. They're willing to help, donate their time. And you can handle this any number of ways. I mean, there's some very, very nice events that are local chefs and things like that. We have more, it's a tight-knit community. There's about 12,000 people in the county. So with the group we've got, everybody's just excited about it and wants to pitch in and help. So we have a lot of volunteer labor.
Another question? Yes. Stacy got a mic. There you go.
Bourbon County. How do y'all determine who gets the 4-year? I know you give yearly $500 scholarships, but how do you determine who gets the big 4-year scholarship?
When students apply, so that can only go towards a student that is that is graduating. So obviously, because that goes with the 4-year. And they apply and they can select if they want to apply for a returning scholarship or the 4-year. And we just select the top candidate. So we have a scholarship application that is points allocated, which so much points goes towards the essay, and we don't require that they go into an agricultural major, but we do require that they write an essay about what they're going to do to promote agriculture in their future. Whether that be they want to go into nursing, but they plan to farm, or they want to be an advocate for it. We recognize that not all kids in our community are going to have a solid agricultural or production background career, but we still think it's important that they understand that they can still impact the industry. So it's all split out based on like academics and all those different types of things, but normally it goes to the top candidate, and then the other scholarships are allocated to the other candidates.
Okay, all right. Well, we've heard some good ideas, so some good county farm bureaus today. Let's show our appreciation for them for being with us this morning and sharing with you. Can be excused, but thank you again for what you do. Thanks for being here and sharing these ideas this morning. You know, the thing that's unique about this, I said a while ago, things just don't happen. People make things happen. And you're in a unique situation with your county farm bureau as you lead your county farm bureau making plans for 2018. It takes people, it takes opportunities, it takes a lot of work, but also takes resources. And the county farm bureaus, you have some resources you can use and set priorities out there in doing that. But also the relationships, working with other people in your community, the elected officials. The county farm bureau boards work with the agency managers, the agency managers work with the county farm bureau boards, as we saw that example. A lot of work goes into this. If you're interested in knowing more, the area program directors can get you more information. They work with the area program directors that serve these counties. They'd be willing to share ideas. At the risk of a little bit of embarrassment, I hope I don't do that. He may not even be in the room, but I want to give you an example about leading where you stand. When we saw the video a while ago and the pictures of down in Ballard County, you saw the big Farm Bureau media board behind all those that were sitting behind the podium. Folks, we were on the Mississippi River that day, and the wind was blowing, and all of a sudden that media board came down. And we realized it was set up and it was being held, and I just assumed there were some cinder blocks, concrete blocks, probably kept it stationary. I didn't realize till the next day when Justin and I were talking on the telephone about the event, one of our area program directors, David Davis, stood there and held that media board in the sun for over an hour. I didn't realize an individual was doing that, but to me, that's the example of doing what's necessary to get the job. That made me very proud of my colleague that there wasn't enough bricks to hold it down, so he physically stood there and did that. To me, that's what any of you would do, any of us would do, meet that need at that time to get the job done. So I just say that to share that situation where everybody pitched in that day, not just the planning, but getting it done.